Hello! Hi! I hope people can hear me. I have no way of knowing whether or not you can. If you have any problems, throw some words in the chat. Let us know. This is a live, real-time-ish event. You were watching me 20 seconds in the past, but welcome to March Madness! Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that Kitchener-Waterloo Little Theatre is on the Haldeman Tract, land promised to the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral peoples. And even though we are not in the theater tonight, this is their land, and we want to be mindful of that. So you might notice that I have a background behind me. I am not actually in the theater. March Madness this year was a semi-remote, asynchronous affair, kind of, but you know, we can kind of pretend. And this is the actual set. So, before we get into it, what is March Madness? If this is your first time here, welcome. March Madness is a theater exercise where several different teams are given the same script, but the script is only dialogue, no character notes, no stage direction, nothing. And the different teams take that exact same dialogue and present a drastically different vision. Every year, people are worried, hey, maybe two directors will put on the same show, and every year, nope, that doesn't happen. And this year is no exception. The thing that is different this year is we are in the middle of a pandemic, so I hear. So to minimize risk to our audience and to our actors, what we did is earlier today, we filmed the March Madness shows in the theater, and now we're going to show them to you. I cannot stress this enough. We still did the March Madness week-long crunch with the short March Madness turnaround time. The shows you're going to see happened mere hours ago, and the teams got the usual 1 week time to prepare. And as Mel rightly pointed out in the chat, the script is online. You can read the script for yourself if you want and imagine your own different interpretation from what is being put on tonight. So, without further ado, I think it is time to show you one of the shows. So, first, we have a performance from a team named Ooh Shiny, directed by Emily Crawford. Take it away.
Oh, good. You're here. At this hour, I usually am. I lead a lonely life.
You're hardly alone now that we're together.
But together and lonely aren't mutually exclusive. I can be in the best company and still feel like an odd duck. Two little ducky birds sitting on a pond. One named Paula, one named Ron. Fly away, Paula. Fly away, Ron. Come back, Paula. Come back. Come back.
Quit playing around and listen!
But the look on your face is such a treat. Besides, you're invading my space and intruding on my time. Fine. And I don't see why you get free rein to barge in whenever you want.
Barge, eh? So when I do it, it's barging, and when you do it, it's a nice little street for everyone.
A nice little treat.
You're impossible.
You're unpredictable.
I'm so glad you're here.
We've been over this. I'm always here.
And I'm not.
No, usually you're there. Now, where is... Fine, fine, I'm listening. Tell me, what news have you about March?
Well, I'm mad. Absolutely mad.
I knew it.
At first I was all, and then I was all, and then,
Oh, why?
and then,
Did you...
what? No?
But you said you were mad.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I want to, not right away. I want it to be spontaneous but planned.
As opposed to just spontaneous?
Exactly. I'll make my move when the time is right. I've got a plan, a basically foolproof plan, and a kit full of toys to help me.
You're unbelievable. You know how many people love March. What makes you think that you'd pull it off anyways?
I'm already halfway there. Besides, I carry this with me at all times, so I'm always prepared. The key is to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Ready for a treat? There you are. I was beginning to wonder if you had gotten lost on your way back.
Such a nice little treat to have you join us.
I know.
I thought it was just going to be us.
Yes, just us.
And I thought you were here all alone.
No, just lonely.
I brought this because it seemed appropriate. Shall we start?
Yes, before it's too late.
I will prepare the space.
If I had known that you had company, you know how I feel about that old raven.
Old Raven? There's a lark.
A lark! And I've missed it. You know that a lark is my favorite.
Mine's an owl.
Oh, you'll never guess whose favorite is a mouse.
Who?
Oh, shoo! No. It's been too long. I've just been so busy lately. I've been challenging commitments and cracking foundations. Telling secrets and abetting liars, baby. February's over, and now I'm all about March. What a time we're having and going to have. They say one's the sum of their parts, yes? Let's just say they add up to a hefty number. We're talking tens. Here.
Delicious. I want every last piece.
Impressive.
Oh, of course. Do you know about March?
By reputation.
Reputation can tell you a lot, good or bad.
You know what's bad? My desire to get this ball rolling. The clock is ticking.
Of course. Would you pour one for me, please? And then, I'll be ready to start.
It'll just be a second.
Tick-tock.
You know I don't trust that sloppy goose.
Old Mother Goose, when she wanted to share, would fly through the sky on a giant mad hare.
Focus. March has been cold and gloomy. Oh, I'm feeling hardly any warmth at all. I'm sure someone's gotten in and altered things.
I've always found March to be gloomy, at least at first. A little damp, too, if I'm honest.
There's a culprit around here somewhere, and I will find them.
Almost there.
There's a lot riding on this.
Exactly how much did you?
All done. One for you, one for me, and a last one for you.
Wonderful. Now that we're all ready, let's get to work. You roll and you cut.
Leaving you to supervise.
Don't be like that. I have the toughest job.
You cut such a fine figure up there on your throne.
Easy for you to say. Remember that my donation is what keeps your hide intact. Vultures, all of them.
Well then, oh fearless leader, show us how you do it.
Watch closely.
Very neat.
Bravo!
When you're as good as me, you'll be able to march to the beat of your own drum.
I'll make my own marching orders.
Marching? Orders.
Precisely.
I hate to stir the pot.
Then don't. I don't want any beef in here.
No beef. Just talk. Chicken?
I don't think I have to remind you both that we're on a time limit here, but tick-tock.
It's funny. You should know March.
You're reading into it too much.
Too much.
Not enough!
Really don't get why you two can't see eye to eye.
You're the culprit. You've been messing with March.
You haven't got a shred of proof. The rules say innocent until proven guilty.
In a sense, I wonder what kind of proof we'll find in here.
I can explain that. And that.
Oh, you can you? Well, what about this?
That's going to be tough to explain.
Maybe if you were going to.
What's wrong with a regular?
Well, if you really want to surprise them, your best bet is to plan a spontaneous surprise.
Aha! Here's all the proof I need.
Fine, you've got your proof. What are you going to do about it?
I'll just give me back my war march and leave us in peace.
How about you nest in peace instead?
I think you mean rest. Oh, I'll just start without you then.
The sum of these parts is neither great nor impressive.
Let me treat you to this.
Will you stop it? You're preventing me from making any headway, and it's getting late. You need to scoop yourself up off the floor, and you need to stop being so mighty and high, and you need to treat those around you with consideration, and you need to be less mad. Ugh! And I need some allies who understand that I don't have all the time in the world. Tick-tock. It's almost time to go.
I hadn't realized.
Maybe not. I'm not sure you even care.
I do. I had forgotten. I got so wrapped up. I was mad a few times over, but it doesn't seem as important now.
If we're airing the truth, I would like to admit that I don't care.
Then we have the truth.
Impossible.
Unpredictable.
But what I mean to say is that I don't care in the same way that you care. I care about March. I care about this. I even care about that. This might be all that you care about.
You can have more.
Birds of a feather flock together and follow where one leads. Mice will choose to steal their food and may pay for their deeds. Go or stay, it doesn't matter now.
It does matter. And I stand by my decision.
Pour one for the odd one out.
I've made a decision too. Surprised? I might be mad, but I don't care.
we'd be on the same page.
Page's turn. We'd be predictable if we didn't roll when they did.
Ha, wouldn't want to be predictable. I assume this was your plan all along?
Maybe. I'll never tell.
One day, you will.
Do you treat all of your guests like this?
You're not a guest anymore, are you? Really?
I guess not. Let's move on then. See what mad little treats tomorrow has in store for us.
Aww, isn't that heartwarming? Spoiler, that's not the vibe of the other show at all. Okay, I owe a lot of you an apology because I forgot to mention the most important part. March Madness is a competition. You do get to vote. And there are 2 teams this year. So, very shortly we're going to watch another show, and then there's going to be the intermission. And then during intermission, you are going to have the opportunity to vote on your favorite. And the winner of the most votes will receive the Audience Favorite Award this year. Some other things to cover. So, after the intermission, we are going to have an interview with the playwright. Pre-recorded, she couldn't be here, unfortunately. Recorded yesterday, so she hadn't seen the shows yet. So that's going to be fun. Then after that, we're going to have a panel discussion and meet some of the people who are on stage and behind the scenes this year. And then we're going to have a very special adjudicator. And then we'll have thank yous and some announcements, and then that's the end of the night. So just so you have a timeline of where we all are, first show, me rambling right now, second show, intermission, and then all those other things that we just mentioned. All right. So the second performance, second of 2, there are 2 teams this year that we are going to watch, is from Team V, directed by Matt Mustin. And as I said, this show has a slightly different vibe than the first one we saw. Take it away.
Oh, good, you're here.
At this hour, I usually am. I lead a lonely life.
You're hardly alone now that we're together.
But together and lonely aren't mutually exclusive. I can be in the best company and still feel like an odd duck. 2 little ducky birds sitting in a pond, one named Paula, one named Ron. Fly away, Paula, fly away, Ron. Come back, Paula, come back, come back.
Quit playing around and listen.
But the look on your face is such a treat. And besides, you're invading my space and intruding on my time.
Fine.
And I don't see why you get free rein to barge in whenever you want.
Barge, eh? So when I do it, it's barging. And when you do it, it's a nice little treat for everyone.
A nice little treat.
You're impossible.
You're unpredictable.
I'm so glad you're here.
We've been over this. I'm always here.
And I'm not.
No. Usually you're there. Now where is...
Master!
Fine, fine. I'm listening. Tell me, what news have you about March?
Well, I'm mad. Absolutely mad.
I knew it.
At first, I was a little like... And then I was... And then...
Oh my.
And then...
Did you?
What? No.
But you said you were mad.
Yes. But I don't want to. Not right away. I want it to be spontaneous, but planned.
As opposed to just spontaneous.
Exactly. I'll make my move when the time is right. I have a plan, a basically foolproof plan, and a kit full of toys to help me.
You're unbelievable. You know how many people love March. What makes you think that you'd pull it off anyways?
I'm already halfway there. Besides, I carry this with me at all times. So that I'm always prepared. The key is to stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Ready for a treat?
There you are. I was starting to wonder if you had gotten lost on your way back.
Such a nice treat to have you join us.
I know. I thought it was just going to be us.
Yes, just us.
And I thought you were alone.
No, just lonely.
I brought this because it seemed appropriate. Shall I begin?
Yes, before it's too late.
I shall prepare the space.
If I had known you had company, you know how I feel about that old raven.
Old raven. There's a lark.
A lark? And I missed it? Oh, you know that a lark is my favorite.
Mine's an owl.
Ooh, you'll never guess whose favorite is a mouse.
Who?
Hungry?
Ravenous.
Ooh, it's been too long. Ooh. Oh, and I've just been so busy lately. Ooh, I've been challenging commitments, cracking foundations, telling secrets, and admitting liars, baby. Ooh, February's over, and now I'm all about March. What a time we've been having, and we're going to have. Ooh, they say one is the sum of their parts, yes? But it adds up to a hefty number. We're talking tens here.
Delicious. I want every last piece.
Impressive.
Ooh, of course. Do you know about March?
By reputation.
Reputation can tell you a lot, good or bad.
You know what's bad? My desire to get this ball rolling. The clock is ticking.
Well, you know I don't trust that sloppy goose.
Well, would you like a drink?
Oh, of course.
It'll just be a second.
Now you know that I don't trust that sloppy goose.
Old Mother Goose, when she wanted to share, would fly through the sky on a giant mad hare.
Focus. March is cold and gloomy, and I've hardly felt any warmth at all. Ooh, someone's gotten in here and altered things.
I've always found March to be a bit gloomy, at least at first. A little damp, too, if I'm honest.
Ooh. There's a culprit in here, and I will find them.
Almost there.
There's a lot resting on this.
Exactly how much did you...
All done. One for you. And one for me. And another one for you.
Wonderful. Now that we're all ready, let's get to work. You roll and you cut.
Leaving you to supervise?
Don't be like that. I have the toughest job.
You cut such a fine figure up there on your throne.
Easy for you to say. Remember that my donation is what keeps your hide intact. Vultures, all of them.
Oh, well then, oh fearless leader. Show us how to do it. Oh, very neat.
Bravo.
When you're as good as me, you'll be able to march to the beat of your own drum.
I'll make my own marching orders.
Marching orders?
Precisely.
Ooh, I hate to stir the pot.
Then don't. I don't want any beef in here.
No beef, just talk. Chicken?
I don't think I have to remind you both that we're on a timeline here, but tick-tock!
It's funny you should know about March.
You're reading into it too much.
Just too much.
Not enough.
I really don't get why you two can't see eye to eye.
Oh, you're the culprit. You've been messing with March.
You don't have a shred of proof. The rules say innocent until proven guilty.
In a sense, but I wonder what kind of proof we'll find in here.
I can explain that. And that.
Oh, you can you? What about this?
That's going to be tough to explain.
And maybe, if you were going to...
But what's wrong with regular...
If you want to really surprise them, your best bet is to plan a spontaneous surprise.
Aha! Here's all the proof I need.
Fine. You've got your proof. What are you going to do about it?
Just give me back my war march. Leave us in peace.
Why don't you nest in peace instead?
I think you mean rest? Oh, I'll just start without you then.
These are neither impressive nor great.
Oh, well, let me treat you to this.
Will you stop it? You're preventing me from making any headway. And it's getting late. You need to scoop yourself up off the floor. And you need to be less mighty and high. And you need to treat others with consideration. And you need to be less mad. And I need some allies who understand that I don't have all the time in the world. Tick-tock. It's almost time to go.
I hadn't realized.
Maybe not. I'm not sure you even care.
I do. I had forgotten. I got so wrapped up. And I was mad a few times over. But it doesn't really matter anymore.
If we're airing the truth, I'd like to admit that. I don't care.
Then we have the truth.
Impossible.
Unpredictable.
What I mean to say is, I don't care the way that you care. I care about March, I care about this, I even care about that. Ooh, this might be all that you care about.
You can have more.
Birds of a feather flock together and follow where one leads. Mice will choose to steal their food and may pay for their deeds. Go or stay, it doesn't matter now.
It does matter. I stand by my decision.
Pour one for the odd one out.
And I've made a decision too. Surprised? I may be mad, but I don't care.
I thought we'd be on the same page.
Pages turn. We'd be predictable if we didn't roll when they did.
Wouldn't want to be predictable. I assume this was your plan all along?
Maybe. I'll never tell.
You will one day.
Is this how you treat all your guests?
You're not a guest anymore, though, are you?
I guess not. Let's move on and see what sweet little treats tomorrow has to bring us.
Excellent. I told you, different vibes. All right, so very shortly we're going to have an intermission, but some notes first. One, this reminder, this is a competition. So during the intermission, please vote on which of the two shows are your favorite. There's the link right there. Oh, there's the link right there. If you go there, you can put in your vote, and at the end of the night, we will announce the winner of that vote. Thing the second, this is a semi-live thing. So over intermission, please put questions in the chat. There's going to be a panel discussion after intermission, and hopefully we can address some of your questions. And I'm going to break one of the rules of academic conferences, and I'll say you can leave something that's more of a comment than a question. Feel free. We have time. And the third thing, I really should have led with this. KWLT is a charity, and we do accept donations. So while you're sitting at your computer or on your device voting, feel free to also go to kwlt.org/donations. And if you're enjoying yourself, please throw a few dollars our way. We will use it to keep the lights on in the theater and all of those things. All right. With that, intermission time. Go vote. All right, I am here with Rachel Conway, the playwright for the script that you have just seen or are about to see. I think you've just seen it. It's Friday afternoon. Nothing's happened yet. We're in the past. All right. So, Rachel, first question I have for you. What did you think of the shows? Knowing that we are recording this Friday afternoon and you haven't seen them yet.
Future Rachel, I'm sure, will be very pleased with what people are putting on. The teams look awesome, and I'm very excited to see what's going on. What they're about to tell us the script is actually about.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm also looking forward to it. So the title of the script, I'm not sure if the audience knows this, but the title is Predictable. Why predictable?
It was kind of like a silly little thing. There's a couple characters who repeat that things are unpredictable throughout. And I wanted to, clearly for us reading it and watching it, it's very predictable, I think. The way it's written, it's very clear what it's about. So,
Really?
Oh yes. So no, it's just a silly little, just to bring that back up again.
You know, just for some interactivity, people who are watching this in the chat right now, tell us what the script is about. If it's obvious, like, I don't know. I'm thick. I don't think I got it. So I need all of you out there watching this on Saturday night to tell me what the script was about. Because so
I'm glad, 'cause that means I did my job. So
there's lots of noises in the script. Like, there are lots of lines that are just noise. Can you do that line for us? Can you do noise?
I love noise. Noise can mean anything. Noise can be cartoonish and like, or it can be silly, like, or it can be.
I like that middle one. Is that a chicken?
Yeah, I guess.
Can you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so there's this semi-March Madness tradition. I don't think it started on purpose, where a lot of the scripts, you read them, and then there's a line where a character does something dramatic, and then they don't have any lines after that. So it's like, oh, did they die? So line 123, yeah, I think the character makes a noise, and then you don't hear from them again. So is that intentionally a death line?
It's intentionally an opportunity for exit line.
An opportunity for exit.
Exit can be exit from the stage or exit from life. It's up to the teams to decide.
Oh, I wonder what they're going to pick.
I wonder.
It would be kind of funny if, like, someone went against the tradition, like, hardcore, and instead of dying, the person just stands there the entire rest of the script, just awkwardly staring, like...
Staring, eye contact.
All right, so I previously wrote a March Madness script, and one of the things that I did when I was writing the script is I had in mind, like, several different ideas about what the script could be about. Did you have any ideas about what the script could be about to help guide the dialogue or the character relationship building?
I did.
Do you mind sharing?
I think we'll let the plays stand for themselves. Okay. It's kind of something that I use to just help guide the character interactions and, like, makes a little bit of a characterization. And then I removed kind of most of the references to it. So we'll see if we're anywhere close, I guess.
Do you want to share anything about the characterizations you had in mind, or is that also, like, let the plays stand for themselves?
Let's say that the characters have a very complicated relationship.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. You know,
I know
maybe
that's kind of a
future-
non-answer, but
No, that's fine. What I'm hoping for personally is that everything is wildly different between the two shows.
that's what I'm hoping.
You are a winning director.
That's true. It's true.
I remember it well because we're still recording, so if something useful comes out of this, that's good.
We'll just throw it in. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to mention you are a winning director. Your team won, and I remember this because Mel was your props person.
She was, yeah.
And Mel still has some of your props, including the face, which made an appearance in March Madness last year.
Yes. Excellent.
So, okay, bonus question. Is there anything in this script which feels like it could become a March Madness tradition?
So like you said, there's the nebulous one character kind of disappears at the end. That's sort of an unspoken tradition. And I feel like in a lot of the March Madnesses, there's always the opportunity for physical conflict. And that's kind of just left vague. And I think people have a lot of fun like interpreting that and making it their own. For this one, I think I don't think there's anything particularly, and this is before seeing them, but I don't think there's anything that strikes me as particularly tradition worthy. But maybe after seeing what happens, we'll see something new come up.
You know what? You're right. And that's a really unfair question on my part because I don't think it's hard to predict what's going to catch on. Like the second March Madness script ever, For Acquaintances, had like lots of bits that people were repeating for years. We don't have that. We have what? Consensus. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
That script was so hard to memorize.
So hard.
But it was really good.
It was. Yeah. And there's like so much of March Madness comes from the teams and like how they choose to portray things. So it really is a team effort. So
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and last but not least, there's lots of birds in the script. I didn't write that in my list, but I'm just remembering that now. There's lots of birds.
There are.
I guess that's not a question.
It's an acute observation. You've cracked it. You've cracked the egg, shall we say.
Well, on that note, thank you, Rachel, for joining us asynchronously tonight.
Thank you. Past me wishes future all of you a great show and a great evening.
Thank you again, past Rachel, for joining us. Thank you again to Rachel for joining us for a little bit tonight. I saw you in the chat. I don't know how long you could stay, but awesome. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, that was recorded yesterday in like one clean take with like a bit that happened afterwards that got spliced in. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Joseph, for noticing the editing and the script flashing up. That was great. All right. Last call for voting. Oh, yes. And thank all of you for dropping your play ideas in the chat. There were quite a few good ones. Yeah, it could be about dinosaurs. I see that. Learning to be predictable. Absolutely. The noise could be... Oh, yep. Okay, so Emily had a lot of ideas, which... You know what? I'm here for it. I fully encourage directors to have many, many, many ideas. Flies and sticky tape. I would That would be an interesting show to see. The noise could be like bzz, bzz. Birds, yeah, absolutely. How about we bring our panelists up? We have several people joining us who were on stage and behind the stage. And they will be able to answer some of the questions and comments that people were leaving through the last little while. Hello, it's Emily and Stephanie and Dee and Matt and Greg. All right. So, Emily, Stephanie, and Dee were part of Team Ooh Shiny. Greg and Matt were part of Team V. To start off, I'm gonna guess that V stands for vampire.
You would guess right.
Excellent. And Emily, I would guess that Ooh Shiny is a reference to the fact that crows famously collect shiny objects.
Yes, and we also all like shiny things.
I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? I will say, just straight on the off, one of my favorite parts of the two different visions was the line about not being a guest anymore. I really enjoyed how that was strikingly different in the two shows. There was a question in the chat about capes that I want to bring up. It was about, was the cape fiddly? Yeah, there we go. Now, Rory's not here, but maybe Matt or Greg could speak to that.
We never really discussed the fiddling cape too much. It's just kind of something he did. Yeah.
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 And personally, I really enjoyed the flashiness of the cape turn. So, Mel had a question for both directors, which was, did you have other ideas for the script? Now, I think, yeah, there it is. I think Emily kind of answered that one in the chat with her font of other ideas. But feel free to answer it more seriously. And Matt, like, did you have any other ideas for the script that you almost went with and decided to go with vampires instead?
No, I always had the vampire idea. The only other ideas that came were like fine-tuning the details from that. I knew the overall thing was going to be like vampires or creatures of the night of some sort. And I didn't really have any other... I knew that's what I wanted to do, and most of it was just figuring out how to do it.
Emily?
Usually, so this is not my first time directing a March Madness. So usually what I do is I get together with who I have of a team on the Friday that we get the script. And then we write out as many possible ideas as we can. It doesn't matter how wild or out there they are. We write them down and we see what works with the script, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And then we cut from there. And I think Stephanie actually was the one who originally suggested Scarecrow. So we put it on the list and then we went through the script. And after auditions, we decided to go with that one because it worked the best with our actors and with the script that we had.
Right, because Stephanie has also been in March Madness before. And also Greg. I acted across from Greg. Greg, I think I killed you on stage.
You really tried. I had the bruises to prove it.
And Dee, is this your first March Madness?
It is, yeah. I've seen almost every one that has existed, but I've never been in one before. And it was so fun. I'm so glad that I was able to be a part of the team.
Thank you for joining us, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's really like a bite-size theater experience compressed into a week. I want to highlight a comment from Jessica Carswell. It's not a question, it's just a comment. I'll start reading it. I love you all. Heart, 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 heart. This brought such a smile to my face. And that is so Jess. Yeah. Jess, thank you. We miss you.
We love you too, Jess.
Ah,
she's the best.
Yeah.
We enjoyed both. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. You know what? Me too, to be honest. That's part of the deal with March Madness. The script has to be so flexible that, there's so much ambiguity that you can read into the script. Rachel left a comment. This is how I know she's around. Well done, everyone.
Good.
So thank you, Rachel, for your stamp of approval. Matt.
Yes.
One thing that I noted is your flasks had actual liquid in them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a brave choice.
Well, the one thing was it needed to be clear that they were drinking blood to make the whole vampire thing clear. So we needed some kind of red liquid in there for sure. And then we needed the holy water too. So we figured it was easier to do that than just use empty ones. But now that you say that, I'm thinking about how risky that actually was.
Oh, yeah. And not only is it the liquid, it's the actual glass.
Yeah.
When there's only 3 actors and no audience, maybe it's slightly less risky than in like a big crowded space.
Yeah. And also not strictly real time. So for all the people watching at home, the 2 teams recorded both today, but like an hour and a half apart. So worst case scenario, just bring out a mop, probably do another recording. Although I will say the shows that you saw was one clean run. Like there was no splicing of different runs. That's just one shot. I mean, it was earlier today. There wouldn't be time. Isaac had a great question. Question for any actor or director. Were there switches in the role assignments? And I know I think the answer is yes for at least one team.
We originally had D as our character D and E, which is what I played when I came on. And she was our understudy because we had Victoria as our character B, but Victoria got sick halfway through the week. Not COVID. She just didn't want to get any of us sick. So thankfully we had D already as understudy so we could bump her up. And then it just meant that I had to go and do all of the things D was going to do.
Which meant you were on stage.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Emily, this keeps on happening to you. Because I remember the year I directed, we almost pushed you on stage. And didn't, but we almost did. And then, yeah. Matt, were there any switches in role assignments, or is it just one, is it original plan?
Yeah, it was everybody was the original assigned role. Yeah, we didn't switch anything around.
I also enjoyed Danny. Danny's not. Oh, Danny's in the background. I can see Danny's in Greg's background. Hi.
Davenport's waving at you.
Hi, bonus panelists. Yeah, you'll see it in about 20 seconds. I really enjoyed the cheat of like, pour one for me, please.
I'm gonna wave in about a minute.
It was very creative, and it's a reminder of the March Madness spirit of there are all these lines. No one tells you who the lines are directed to. So the director is free, or the director, actor, the creators are free to deliver that to whoever will make the story work. Right. At the risk of putting you on the spot, to close out, Nadia, feel free to highlight any other comments I might have missed. But, oh, yes, that's a great comment. How did your rehearsal... I don't actually know how your rehearsal process went, nuts and bolts wise.
So ours, we had read-through on Zoom, and then Monday and Tuesday rehearsal on Zoom. We met in person on Wednesday, and then originally one of our actors couldn't make it on the Thursday, so we had a dark night on Thursday.
You had a dark night?
What?
We did. Thank goodness, because that's when I like finished our set pieces. I had to make the nest and stuff still. And then we went in yesterday for tech and did it the first time with tech. So yesterday at tech was our actor's 4th time actually doing it with props and like full out and everything.
And the first time in the space.
Yeah.
Right. No one had access to the space until Friday. I mean, yeah, not even to get props. I got the props for everyone. Matt, how did your process go down?
We did a little bit of a mixture of both in person and over Zoom. Our in person rehearsals were masked, and everybody made sure we were very safe. But it was just easier for me, especially because I never directed before. It was easier for me to do it in person than over a Zoom thing. But there was a mix of both. And when we had to do like line runs, those would be over Zoom. But most of the rehearsals were in person and masked.
And then Sophie had another question. Well, she asserts it's your first time directing. Is that true? Is it your first time directing?
Yeah, I've never directed anything before.
Well, congratulations!
Thank you. I've always wanted to, but I've never done it before.
And March Madness is a great opportunity to do it for the first time because it's very, very bite-sized.
Yeah.
At the risk of putting you on the spot, I want to ask the directors what they found most surprising or about the other performance. Yeah. Feel free to take a moment. While you're thinking, I'll say a thing that I noticed is you both had crosses. Like, it's literally the first prop I saw for both of you. So I did have a moment of like, oh no, maybe it is the same. But for Emily, it was the scarecrow thing. And for Matt, it was the inverted, yeah.
Do you want to go first, Emily, or do you want me to?
Yeah, you can take it away.
So the thing about March Madness is they're supposed to be different, but I didn't realize how completely polar opposite the tones were going to be. Because Emily's was a lot more wholesome than mine was.
Oh, yes.
So that was kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, that was kind of something we decided early on because there was a couple ideas that came by us that were a little less wholesome and some were depressing, and we're like, we can't do that. Like, the world is already bad enough right now. We need something happy.
We're just like, let's eat a baby.
Why not? Show us how it's done.
Go ahead.
I definitely found some of the like noise lines from Matt's really good. And even when we were watching it at first, I got a little confused because I forgot they existed because I'm so used to hearing ours. And I was like, they don't say master in the script. I was like, wait, there was a noise line.
I will say that I really enjoyed the contrast between the two, particularly since last year, where we did the video dubbing instead of the interpretation of a script with no character directions. One of the bits of feedback we got from last year is a good exercise, but people felt a bit railroaded by the visuals. And both of the scripts ended up like being dark and twisted because the visuals were, a bit dark and twisted. So as part of the March Madness return to form of interpreting like bare dialogue, I am very happy that it ended up the way that it did. Well, I would like to thank the 5.5, 6. Hi, Daddy. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
for
you.
having
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next, we are going to have the Adjudicator. And the Adjudicator tonight, Jonathan C. Dietrich, is a UW drama grad and has been a part of the KWLT community and theater scene for almost 25 years. He's been on stage, he's done graphic design, he's directed for KWLT, and is excited to be back to adjudicate March Madness. And I have to say, 2022, return to form, Jonathan C. Dietrich was also the very first March Madness adjudicator. All right. So with that, hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hi. So, for those of you who haven't seen this before, what typically happens is there's a bunch of adjudicator special awards, and then the adjudicator's favorite.
That's right. That's right. I want to say first off that I'm very impressed by everybody because everything about this show is difficult. Writing it is not easy. Directing it and acting in it, right? Just coming up with all of that stuff and that compressed timeline really makes things challenging. And so I want to give everyone kudos for getting it done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Shall we just move into the awards then?
Yes, please.
Okay. So first up, I've got an award for Best Costume. And this one I'm giving to D on Ooh Shiny. The Scarecrow was a great costume. There was more detail to that costume than to any others. And I thought it was really nice. I really liked the nose piece.
I didn't notice the nose piece. I was so stuck on the bits of straw. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a great costume. So well done. Next up, we've got the best use of lighting. And I'm giving that to Team V because of the red, just how well that red lighting sets the mood for what they were doing. And it just really set it off and got you in the space right off the top.
I think that's a decision Matt made early. I wasn't in the loop for the lighting, but I did hear like, oh, I want a red wash. And yeah, absolutely set the scene.
Strong choice, and it worked. So
absolutely.
Next award I've got is for the best physical commitment, which I'm giving to two people, both for different reasons. I'm giving it to Grace, who played the Crow in Ooh Shiny, and to D, who played the Scarecrow. Grace, because of her commitment as the Crow and always that physical movement, that was just amazing to see that she was in it the entire time. And D, being up even with the support for the entire show, or almost the entire show, is not easy. And yeah, well done.
Yeah, it's almost, I said to Emily, it's like kinesthetic levels. Because like D was an anchor and Grace was like made use of the whole stage.
Yeah.
Both lending a lot to their characters. Yeah.
So very, very happy to see that. The next one is interesting because the audience may not have noticed. I didn't notice at first. I was given copies of the performances prior to tonight. So I was able to watch them both a couple of times. And on my second watch, I followed along with the script as I was watching. And I noticed that someone made a great save. And so what a save is when you're on stage and you're performing, it's very easy to forget a line or to jump a line. And sometimes you could just carry on from there and it's not a big deal. Other times there's an important piece of action or an important piece of dialogue that has to be there in order for the show to continue. And so Karen from Team V did an amazing job catching and saving that and letting it go forward. I didn't notice first run through. It wasn't until I was watching with the script that I caught it. So congratulations, Karen. Good job thinking on your feet.
Congratulations. I just want to point out both Grace and Karen are getting recognized. This is the first March Madness for both of them.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I believe the first KWLT thing that either of them has done. So please come back.
Yes, please do.
Also, I'm laughing because you said like prior to tonight, like 6 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. You said before tonight.
Oh,
I'm just
earlier
because yeah. The shows were this afternoon.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's funny.
The next award I'm giving is the best cameo by a director. And that goes to Emily, of course. It was a surprise, right? Because the script's got 3 characters. I wasn't expecting a 4th at all, because there's no lines. And in she comes. And so it was a nice surprise. So, yay.
Excellent. Also, one of the other rules of March Madness, you can always add characters that have no dialogue. I love it when that happens. Yeah.
Next up is the best use of voice. And this one I gave to Greg on Team V. I thought, especially right off the top, his calm and vampiric kind of almost soothing voice really set his character apart from everything else, right? Between the very bright stuff that was in the first show and even the other 2 characters in Team V, Greg stood out as something very, very different. And I really appreciated that.
Excellent.
And so that brings us to the end here, where I've got to choose between the 2 and give my choice as to which show was better. And so I'm going to give this to Team V, because I feel like they had a slightly stronger internal consistency in their storytelling. And yeah, and it was great.
Wow. Thank you for that. Congratulations to Team V. You're the adjudicator favorite for 2022. Woo! And if we were in the theater, we'd have you all stand on the stage. Unfortunately, we cannot have that because we are all at home. Matt Mustin, your directorial debut, you can say you are an award-winning director. So congratulations.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for joining us tonight and for adjudicating the performances.
Thank you very much for having me.
Always a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, yes.
All right. Have a good evening.
Yep.
All right. And with that, the next on the agenda is the announcement of audience choice. Now, the votes are happening somewhere over here. Matt Walsh and Nadia are taking care of that half. I have no knowledge of what the audience choice is, but it's going to pop up on the bottom here, and I'm going to clap. So, the audience choice is Ooh Shiny! So, congratulations, Emily. You're also an award-winning director tonight. Everyone's a winner in the most literal sense. Woo! All right. So our evening is almost at a close. To lead out, I would like to talk about some future KWLT events. So, we are having auditions for Falling Awake soon. Yes, there's a slide. Okay, good. I don't have to remember the words. There's a slide. Falling Awake by Gary Kirkham, directed by Danny Rosenbaum, who you saw on stage tonight. Auditions are at the end of March, and the performances are happening this summer. So if you have any questions, there's an email address there. Falling Awake, it's going to be a good show. All right. Also, there is a Battle of the Bards coming up. Oh, yeah! Battle of the Bards, Friday, May 13th, 2022. Put it in your calendars. I don't know who's performing yet, but it's going to be awesome. I think we are long overdue for Bards. Thank you to Josh and Nadia and Mel and Albert. I think Yeah, you're still involved. Albert, yes, you do stuff for running Battle of the Bards. And then, last but not least, Ali and Ali is coming up. Yes, I believe we had to move this. This is supposed to be earlier, but then, the world did not cooperate. But the show must go on, and this is happening this fall. Auditions are September 6th to 8th, and the performances are in November. And if you have any questions, there is an email address directed by Diana Lobb, who was not on the March Madness stage tonight, but has previously been on the March Madness stage. So you might recognize Diana from there. I have some thank yous. So thank you to Tyson and Todd for helping with the set construction. Thank you to Tarka for helping with the light hang. Thank you to Sarah and Shay for social media support. Thank you to Aaron Moffat at Color and Light for the individual awards. And also, thank you to the March Madness Committee for helping put on another March Madness. Lenore, Sophie, Matt, Nadia, and Mel. We've been very busy keeping up the March Madness streak. So thank you, everyone. And thank you to the audience for coming and watching March Madness tonight and appreciating the work that the directors and the performers have done. All right. Thank you all. This has been fun. Have a good evening.